Is this a return to Nike's roots?
No question. I think every company has a core of what makes them great, and I think sport is the core of what we are about. We're about human potential and performance. Nike's back.
The events are all going on for the community, for the kids, be able to go out there, throw the football, connect with them. We have a lot of fun things supposed to be there. We're doing it for the people. We're not gaining anything out of it. It's all coming out, my own pockets for real. So it's like, I don't gain, anything. It's more about connecting with the kids and everything like that. That's what brings me happiness. That's what brings me joy. So
picture this. A rookie quarterback steps into the NFL and instantly flips the entire sports world upside down. Within hours of his debut, pure madness breaks out. Nike's servers crash, warehouses get wiped clean, and top executives are running wild, trying to make sense of it all. This isn't your average athlete signing a deal. This is a cultural explosion, the kind we haven't seen since Michael Jordan changed everything. And the name setting the world on fire? Shedeur Sanders. The morning after Shedeur's logo dropped, Nike's Beaverton headquarters looked like a Wall Street panic scene. Phones were ringing nonstop, dashboards flashing red, and executives rushing into emergency meetings trying to figure out how a rookie just broke their billion-dollar system. What they saw didn't even look real. Sales charts shooting straight through the roof. Numbers that were supposed to build gradually throughout the day were completely destroyed in under an hour. Orders flooded in faster than they could handle. Nike's website didn't just slow down, it crashed. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Fans went wild, refreshing their screens nonstop just to grab a hoodie or jersey before they vanished. And by the time West Coast stores even opened, the shelves were already wiped out, every single item gone. Warehouses were wiped clean. Inventory systems froze, software glitched, and stunned managers at Nike HQ were staring at graphs that looked more like rocket launches than sales charts. It got so crazy that Phil Knight himself and the legendary founder of Nike reportedly picked up the phone demanding answers. The supply chain had literally collapsed under the weight of one man's name, Shedeur Sanders. This wasn't just hype. It was a full-blown meltdown of history, chaos, and culture all crashing together at once. The craziest part? The shockwave wasn't even coming from the crowd everyone expected. When Nike's analysts dug into the numbers, they assumed hardcore football fans were behind the surge, loyal middle-aged guys who lived for Sunday games. But nope, they were wrong. Completely wrong. Almost half the buyers came from a totally different world. Women in Gen Z, a generation that barely even checks NFL highlights, were storming Nike's site like it was a Yeezy drop, not a football release. It was a cultural crossover that no one saw coming, and it was shaking the industry to its core. And just when they thought they'd seen it all, the global orders started rolling in. And that's when it went from wild to legendary. Europe, Asia, Latin America, places that couldn't care less about the Browns or Colorado football, suddenly went insane for Shedeur's logo. Fans thousands of miles away were rocking his brand like it was designer gear straight off a runway. Shedeur Sanders didn't just sell jerseys. He flipped the whole game and turned NFL merch into a global fashion movement. This wasn't sports gear anymore. It was status, identity, and straight-up cultural fire wrapped inside one sleek new logo. For years, Nike had been chasing that kind of crossover magic, trying to outshine Adidas, Puma, and Under Armour in the global lifestyle race. And somehow, a rookie pulled it off in one drop. Inside the industry, everyone was asking the same stunned question: how did he do it? Once Nike realized this wasn't just a sales spike, but a full-blown tidal wave, chaos erupted behind the scenes. Entire production lines in Vietnam were reportedly reallocated overnight, stealing fabric, factories, and manpower from other superstar contracts just to keep up with Shedeur's insane demand. Regional managers were ordered to clear shelves immediately, tearing down displays of long-standing Nike legends to make room for the new Kings logo. Flagship stores in New York and LA transformed within hours. Giant window setups, Sanders zones, and digital kiosks where fans could customize every piece of gear. Retail workers were retrained on the spot, told to sell the Shedeur story like it was gospel. Moves like this normally take months for a company the size of Nike, but they were doing it in days, sometimes hours. The shift was bigger than sports. It was a cultural takeover. Shedeur Sanders had gone from quarterback to global icon, and Nike knew they had lightning in a bottle. His signature line wasn't just selling out, it was rewriting how the world viewed athletes and fashion. Every influencer, from high-end stylists to TikTok trendsetters, was showing off Shedeur's logo like it was luxury streetwear. It wasn't about touchdowns anymore. It was about taste, power, and presence. Reporters called it the Sanders effect, a phenomenon where football met fashion and created a brand new lane nobody saw coming. Social media was drowning in unboxing videos, outfit breakdowns, and fan edits comparing Shedeur's rollout to legends like Jordan and LeBron. The difference? Shedeur did it before his rookie season was even halfway over. That's unheard of. Inside Nike's headquarters, marketing execs were fighting to be part of his next drop. Designers were pitching sneaker concepts around the clock, hoping to get the S2 stamp, Shedeur's personal signature tag that fans now treated like a badge of status. Meanwhile, analysts were warning that the company's entire marketing strategy might have to evolve around this one player, because the demand wasn't slowing down. It was multiplying. Celebrities from Drake to Travis Scott were spotted wearing his gear. NBA stars showed up pre-game rocking Sanders hoodies. Even fashion critics from Paris and Milan started calling his line the new wave of athletic luxury. It was wild. The NFL had never seen anything like it. And behind all the madness, Shedeur stayed cool, calm, and locked in. When asked about it, he just smiled and said, "I'm just getting started." And that's when everyone realized this wasn't hype anymore. This was history in motion. By week 6, the Shedeur Sanders phenomenon had fully taken over pop culture, and the NFL could barely keep up. Stadium crowds started looking like fashion shows, with fans rocking limited edition Sanders merch that was reselling online for 10 times retail. People weren't just supporting a player anymore, they were joining a movement. It was like Shedeur had unlocked a new era where athletic greatness and street culture collided head-on. Other players noticed too, and that's when things got tense. Some veterans didn't like how a rookie was dominating headlines, outshining MVPs, and taking sponsorship attention they used to own. "He's just a kid, this ain't supposed to happen yet," one insider said. But jealousy couldn't stop the wave. If anything, it made it louder. Every time someone tried to question him, Shedeur answered back the only way he knew how, with wins, swagger, and style that made cameras chase him everywhere. Meanwhile, Nike's competitors were in full panic mode. Adidas reportedly held emergency meetings trying to figure out how to counter the Sanders storm. Puma executives leaked teasers of inspired designs that fans instantly clowned online. Even Under Armour tried to capitalize, hinting at a mysterious new collab that vanished the moment Shedeur's next drop went live. It was game over before it even started. But the wildest part, Shedeur didn't even seem fazed. Reporters asked if he felt pressure from being compared to icons like Jordan or LeBron, and he laughed. "Pressure's what you feel when you're not prepared," he said. That quote alone went viral, printed across thousands of shirts overnight. At that moment, it was clear. Shedeur wasn't chasing history, he was making it. Every throw, every outfit, every word, it all hit like a statement to the world. The era of Shedeur Sanders had officially begun. The moment Shedeur Sanders stepped back on the field after his brand explosion, the energy was different. Electric, untouchable, almost cinematic. Every camera lens locked on him, every fan phone pointed his way. This wasn't just a quarterback taking snaps anymore. This was a superstar commanding his stage. His warm-ups looked like runway moments. His walkouts felt like movie premieres, and his confidence, unshakable. You could feel it in the air. The league had a new face, and everyone knew it. Commentators couldn't stop talking about it. "He's bigger than football right now," one analyst said live on air, and he wasn't exaggerating. Ratings spiked every time Shedeur's name was mentioned, and NFL officials privately admitted that the Sanders effect was bringing in millions of new viewers, especially from younger audiences who'd never watched a full game before. His jersey wasn't just a fan item anymore. It was a cultural passport to the new generation of football. Even opposing players started admitting it, quietly at first, then publicly. "You can't hate on it," one defensive captain said after a loss. "He's just different," and it showed. The way Shedeur read defenses, moved in the pocket, and turned broken plays into highlights looked effortless. Every touchdown felt like another reminder that greatness doesn't wait for permission. Meanwhile, Nike dropped another bomb. The Prime Legacy Pack, honoring both Dion and Shedeur, instantly selling out in under 5 minutes. Fans called it the greatest father-son moment in sports history. And through it all, Shedeur stayed calm, focused, and humble. Because deep down, he knew this was just the opening act. The Sanders story wasn't peaking, it was just beginning, and the rest of the league better be ready because the storm named Shedeur wasn't slowing down anytime soon. He was the priority now. And as Nike ripped up its own rulebook to keep up, the ripple effects hit the entire industry like a shockwave. At Adidas HQ, executives reportedly scrambled into an emergency meeting trying to figure out how they'd let Shedeur Sanders slip away. Over at Under Armour, panic mode kicked in instantly. They started throwing money and marketing offers at every rising rookie, desperate to secure their own next big thing before Nike swallowed the whole market alive. Even the usually chill brands like New Balance and Puma, known for carving out their quiet little niches, were suddenly rethinking their entire US game plan. The sneaker wars had always been a slow, strategic grind until Shedeur Sanders turned it into an all-out sprint. Overnight, he handed Nike something no rival could ignore: complete dominance. Inside boardrooms across the world, the vibe shifted from competition to crisis. Conversations weren't just about jerseys or sneakers anymore, they were about survival. Every brand exec was asking the same question: how did Nike see Shedeur's star power so clearly while everyone else looked the other way? And worse, could anyone even catch up now that the world had crowned him the face of a movement? If one rookie quarterback could trigger a global fashion riot, then the old rules of the game were officially dead. But where things really got wild was the money. When Shedeur first signed with Nike, insiders said it wasn't some instant millionaire deal. It was built on performance bonuses, royalties, and whispered talks of future equity. Basically, if he proved himself, he'd cash out big. If not, Nike stayed protected. But then came that logo drop, and everything blew up. Within just a few days, the numbers got so massive that Shedeur's original contract didn't even make sense anymore. Sales projections weren't just beaten, they were obliterated. Analysts claim that Shedeur Sanders pulled in more money in 72 hours than some superstar veterans make in an entire quarter. That's when the power dynamic flipped completely. The rookie was now calling the shots, and everyone in Beaverton knew it. Sources close to the situation say Shedeur's team is pushing for one of the boldest rookie endorsement renegotiations in history. They're demanding higher royalties, guaranteed payouts, and a long-term setup that locks in real financial security for years to come. And for Nike, it's not even up for debate. It's a necessity. They can't afford to lose what Shedeur represents. Cultural capital, that rare kind of influence that money alone can't buy.
If these negotiations go the way insiders expect, this could rewrite the future of athlete endorsements forever. The old model, where rookies had to wait their turn, prove themselves, and slowly climb the endorsement ladder, it's dead now. From this point on, brands will have to bet big early because the next Shedeur Sanders won't come cheap, and they know it.
But here's where the real magic lies. Not in the contract or the cash, but in the symbol itself. That logo. It became more than just his name. It became a movement, a visual stamp of swagger, belief, and identity for an entire generation. The sleek, interlocking SS, crowned with subtle nods to his father's primetime legacy, looked clean, confident, and untouchable. But insiders say that perfection didn't come easy. Nike's design team went through 17 different versions before Shedeur finally gave the green light. And once it dropped, boom! The effect was instant. Social media exploded. The logo stopped being just a football emblem and turned into a full-blown lifestyle statement. Overnight, fashion influencers were rocking Shedeur's gear with designer streetwear fits. Musicians wore it in music videos, celebrities flexed it on Instagram, not as sports merch, but like they were repping a luxury fashion label. Young fans didn't just see an athlete's initials anymore. They saw ambition, confidence, and style all wrapped into one clean, powerful logo. That crown on top wasn't just a nod to Deion Sanders. It became a symbol for a generation that refuses to settle. In record time, the SS transformed from a logo into a badge of identity, the kind people wear to say, I'm built different. And here's the wildest part. None of this came from traditional marketing. Shedeur wasn't out there doing the usual rookie PR runs or those painfully rehearsed interviews. Instead, he built his empire on authenticity, Instagram stories, behind-the-scenes clips, and unfiltered tweets. That's how he connected with the world. Fans didn't feel like they were being sold a brand. They felt like they were living it with him. People close to him say, Shedeur runs his image like a CEO, runs a Fortune 500 company. He knows exactly what to post, when to post, and how to make it blow up without ever feeling fake. Every move looks effortless, but it's all strategic, perfectly balanced between real and calculated. When Nike met with Shedeur Sanders, they weren't talking touchdowns or passing yards, they were studying influence. They saw a player who didn't need a marketing team to sell him because he was the marketing team. When those execs sat across from Shedeur, the conversation wasn't about football stats. It was about lifestyle, vision, and cultural impact. They realized they weren't just signing a quarterback. They were investing in a cultural architect, someone who could bridge generations and connect with fans in ways few athletes ever could. Shedeur had the rare ability to move people, not just to cheer, but to believe. Still, Nike knew authenticity alone wasn't enough to solidify the movement. If this was going to be more than a trend, they had to bring the energy off the screen and into the streets. The online buzz was already out of control, but Nike wanted to make it real. They moved fast, transforming their Manhattan stores into full-blown Shedeur showcases. Overnight, massive window displays turned into towering murals of Sanders rocking his own gear. Exclusive S2 sections launched with limited edition colorways and pop-up kiosks where fans could customize their own pieces on the spot. Store managers said people weren't just grabbing a hoodie, they were dropping thousands like it was nothing. Some walked out with entire collections, arms full of Shedeur merch like they were buying gold. Meanwhile, the digital chaos went nuclear. Nike's app downloads skyrocketed over 400%, and website traffic smashed through their Black Friday records. Analysts were left speechless. Metrics normally reserved for Super Bowl campaigns were getting shattered, not by a billion-dollar ad push, but by a single rookie's merch drop. And then came the wildest twist yet. The resale market went nuclear. Sites like StockX were flooded with Shedeur Sanders gear, flipping for prices that rivaled Supreme collabs and rare Jordan releases. Some of the pieces shot up in value so fast they were being compared to crypto investments. Collectors weren't just buying, they were investing in Shedeur's name, treating it like a brand new digital asset. That's when it hit everyone. This wasn't just a product launch anymore, this was a movement, a fusion of sports, streetwear, and culture that the NFL had never seen before. But with that level of fame came a new kind of pressure. Every throw, every post, every move Shedeur made was under a microscope. He wasn't just carrying a football team anymore, he was carrying a global brand. One bad game, one off-field misstep, and the critics were waiting, ready to question if the empire was built on legacy or hype. The spotlight doesn't fade when the clock hits zero. It only gets brighter. Every tweet, every story, every public appearance was being dissected, tested for authenticity, for consistency, for truth. Shedeur and Nike had built something massive, but the real challenge wasn't creating it. It was keeping it real while the whole world watched every move. And that's the game changer. In today's digital world, where a single post can flip a story in seconds, the margin for error is razor thin. Traditionalists are already grumbling, saying all this focus on merch and fame takes attention away from what really matters, championships. Others are skeptical, questioning if this is true evolution or just another viral storm dressed up as revolution. Behind closed doors, rival executives whisper their warnings. They've seen it before. Hot rookies who rise fast and crash even faster. They bring up injuries, slumps, scandals, the usual traps that turn hype into heartbreak. But insiders close to Shedeur Sanders insist this time is different. They describe him as laser-focused, grounded, and mature beyond his years, with a vision that stretches far beyond highlight reels or social media headlines. While other athletes chase clout, Shedeur is building a legacy. His team says he's not just another viral star. He's laying the foundation for the next generation of athlete entrepreneurs. And even with all his poise and focus, one truth stands above the rest. Shedeur and Nike aren't building for a season. They're building an empire. And that empire, it's already breaking borders. If the US launch was a cultural earthquake, what's happening overseas feels like the aftershocks of a global shift. Nike didn't box Shedeur's brand inside American football. They went international from day one. Pop-ups in London and Paris treated his gear like luxury fashion drops, not sports merch. Lines of young fans wrapped around city blocks, rocking Sanders hoodies and caps like status symbols. From Tokyo to Berlin, influencers are posting his gear like it's art, not apparel. This isn't just expansion, it's global takeover energy. People who didn't even know a single NFL stat were lining up just to wear that SS logo, because to them, it stood for ambition, confidence, and style. In Tokyo, Nike tested futuristic digital drops, blending augmented reality try-ons with exclusive in-app releases, turning Shedeur's brand into a high-tech fashion phenomenon that Japan instantly fell in love with. Meanwhile, in Brazil and Mexico, demand went absolutely crazy. Distributors were calling Nike non-stop, begging for more shipments as entire stocks sold out in just days. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just rewriting the marketing playbook, he was building a global identity. This wasn't about selling jerseys anymore, this was about building a lifestyle empire. Behind the scenes, insiders say Nike's already mapping out massive cross-industry moves. We're talking high-end fashion collabs with elite designers, cutting-edge tech projects that fuse style and innovation, and even early talks of Shedeur-branded entertainment and luxury restaurant concepts. The mission isn't just to make him the face of sportswear, it's to crown him the centerpiece of a global empire that blends culture, commerce, and community. And now, even Wall Street is paying attention. Analysts are bumping up Nike's stock targets, calling Shedeur a once-in-a-generation business catalyst. Business schools are already writing case studies on him, and sports marketing conferences are literally naming panels after what they're calling the Shedeur effect. Sure, the critics still whisper, wondering if the momentum can really last. But Nike and Sanders, they're not worried about hype. They're building infrastructure. They're laying the blueprint for the future of sports marketing, entertainment, and culture all at once. Because this isn't just a moment, it's a movement. What started as one rookie's logo drop has officially rewritten the entire playbook of modern branding. Competitors are still panicking, trying to figure out how they missed it, how one rookie turned an entire industry upside down. A whole generation has united behind a symbol that means way more than football. Shedeur Sanders didn't just sell gear, he sold identity, ambition, and belonging. For Nike, it's proof they still know how to control the culture when it matters most. And for Shedeur, this is just the beginning, the rise of a new kind of athlete, one powered by authenticity, influence, and global reach. Together, Shedeur and Nike have shown the world that the next era of athlete endorsements isn't just about what happens on Sundays, it's about shaping culture every single day. The impact's already global, and the aftershocks are just starting to hit. Every major brand out there is scrambling to find its own version of Shedeur Sanders, hoping to capture even a fraction of the magic he unleashed. Athletes everywhere are now rethinking what it really means to build a brand. They're realizing it's no longer just about stats, trophies, or highlight reels. It's about owning your image, your story, and your power. Shedeur showed that being a great player isn't enough anymore. You've got to be a movement. And for the fans, every single person who copped that gear or joined the wave, you're part of something way bigger than football. You're part of a cultural revolution that's rewriting what it means to be an athlete in the modern world. So now the only question left, will Shedeur Sanders follow in the footsteps of icons like Michael Jordan and build a billion-dollar dynasty? Or will he blaze his own trail and create a new playbook the world's never seen before? Either way, one thing's crystal clear. The rules have already changed. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.